We have another story of a teacher that's supposedly trying to teach students about slavery. But when she's teaching the students about slavery, she only going to bring the black students up to the classroom and put them on the floor to simulate how it felt being in the slave ship in a predominantly white classroom.
My thing is, okay, so what's next? Is she going to bring in a gas chamber? Is she going to recreate the Holocaust? I mean, what's really going on?
Fed up and furious, Jacqueline Knight Oliver still stunned over what her daughter says unfolded inside a fifth grade classroom.
Having them to lay down on the floor to show how uncomfortable it was on the slavery ships, I just think was a bit much.
Only it didn't stop there. Jacqueline says her daughter, one of 4 African-American students in a predominantly white class here at Meadowbrook Elementary, had to listen to jokes about slavery, jokes the teacher allegedly took part in along with other students.
I guess the way she had them on the floor laying down, she didn't think it was a laughing matter.
Other parents are now calling out the school as well after learning of the alleged incident Tuesday afternoon.
Explain to them what it is and what they're going through, like in a proper way, so students realize the seriousness of it.
We tried reaching the head of Rochester Community Schools by phone to request an on-camera interview, but he declined to talk. Instead, he issued a statement that reads partially, "I sincerely and wholeheartedly apologize for any pain the incident may have caused. At Rochester Community Schools, we are committed to providing a warm, caring, and supportive environment where all members feel safe, valued, and respected. We take this respect code very seriously. I want to assure our community that this situation will be thoroughly investigated and corrective action will be taken as appropriate." For this mother, it's little comfort after what she calls racist jokes that have no place in school.
As a teacher and as an adult, I would think, you would have stepped in and said, hey, this is not a joking matter, but for her to, laugh with them, I was a bit taken back by that.
Miss Knight Oliver does not want that teacher losing her job over all of this. Instead, she says the most important thing is making sure this never happens again.
Now, this is the second time that I am reporting on this same incident. And when we did the interview yesterday with Andrea, and she was speaking about basically the teachings of white supremacy is passed down to each generation like it's an inheritance, I feel very horrible for those children, for one, to be humiliated, racially degraded, and they're laughing about it like it's just a great thing. Now, I'm not trying to post this video to appeal to Caucasians or ask them, why are you doing this? Why some of you act this way? No. I'm way past that. I post these videos to show black people that this is what our children are subjected to in schools. So when I say the statement that we really need to build our own schools, I'm not saying that for my own health. I'm not saying it to be rah-rah pro-black or anything. I'm saying it for the safety of our children. I'm saying that for the self-esteem of our children. I'm saying that for our children not to have a complex about themselves, their skin tone, their hair, their overall just appearance in life, in society, because we know that if our children was going to schools that we would create and we control, we wouldn't have that problem. And slavery do need to be taught, but it needs to be taught in the proper context. It needs to be respected, because this woman in the piece talked about the Holocaust. They would never simulate the Holocaust in schools. They would never do that, because the Jews would run that teacher out of town. If that superintendent didn't act right, the Jews would run him out of town too. We know this. Even the Congressional Black Caucus is scared of the Jews, as we've seen with Minister Farrakhan. But this is something that black people got to take control of. How is it that we as black people, we talk about racism constantly. We talk about how police kill us and all the things that happen to us, but yet we don't take control of our own education, in which we can do that. There's no laws against you creating a school, private school, charter school. There's no law against homeschool, as long as you do things in the right manner and make sure that you always get with an attorney and make sure that things are right, so these folks don't try to get you like they did Kiara Harris. But we have to take control of our children's education. It's not safe for our children. We saw they just had a march over the weekend, March for Our Lives. And you know how cynical and evil even they are to their own. You had Rick Santorum. He was stating that instead of those kids out there speaking about gun control, they need to just learn CPR and when they have a school shooting. I mean, this is what they think about their own children, okay? I can't get involved with what they think about with their own children. I'm talking about ours. How long as we as black people going to subject our precious children to racism and white supremacy? We have to take some responsibility into that. How many stories I'm going to have to post to keep trying to show you that this stuff is real? I know some of you don't want to accept it, and I keep grinding it to you so you can accept it, so you can see no matter what part of the country that you live in, you're going to deal with that. No matter what part of the class system that you're in, you're going to deal with that. And I told you that if you do not protect your children, you are a piece of crap. That's just bottom line. Children is some of your most vulnerable members of your society. And we keep sitting here sending our children to these public schools, and they're coming back talking like they went through some stuff during the Jim Crow South. This Jim Crow South stuff is all the way back. It's back. I mean, the only thing we need to see now is the white and colored water fountains, and we'd be just about set right. 75% of the teachers in this country are Caucasian female. And that's an issue. We don't have equality with teachers. And you know good and well, it's a lot of people in this country that's coming to this country of all groups, and yet we don't have equality with teachers. That is rigged for a reason. Now, the teacher, and with the issue I had with the sister at the end, and this is what I need to tell black folks, you have to start getting cutthroat, okay? If someone messes with your child, don't be saying that, oh, I don't want her fired. Man, the hell yeah, I do. I want her fired. I want to sue. I want to do it all. You don't do that to my kid. I'm going to do everything I can to make a statement. I am. Because you don't treat my child that way. Now, if you say that you put all the students on the floor, okay, well, it's a little different. But you only did it to the black children, fifth graders. Little fifth graders, you treat them this way. See, this is how we deal with racism. I told you, we deal with racism in our first instance in the classrooms of America. Not the police, not the Ku Klux Klan. The classrooms is where we experience racism. The classrooms is where we learn that we're black. A lot of times we don't be teaching our kids about black this, white that when they're little kids, but then they come home saying, hey, they told me I'm black, or they said they did, because in their homes, that's what they teach. And then some of them come here and say, I don't teach that. Well, you're the minority. If you don't, you're the minority, because the majority, that's what they teach. They teach racism. They teach white supremacy. And I've done countless videos on black children having their feelings hurt because they dealt with that. Now, I have a little one that's going to be going to school here in a few months. And one of my greatest things about my child is I don't want to subject her to anything like that. And I'm going to do everything possible I can to prevent that. But unfortunately, I can't protect her all her life from racism and white supremacy. I can't. I can just do my best to equip her, to show her how she need to navigate it. And I'm going to teach her to be definitely a sister girl. That's just my main thing. She's going to be extremely conscious, way more than I could ever been. I'm going to make sure of it, because I don't want her to navigate the world and make the same mistakes that I made, just being silly as a system that we live in. Brothers and sisters, this is real. We have to stop all this name brand shopping that you're doing, buying Gucci and Jordan and all this other stuff that you like to buy, and start appropriating those funds to building schools for our children. Because if you want to keep hearing stories every week of them putting your children on the floor, making racial jokes about your children, your little children that you send to school for education, when you have the power to stop it, and yet you won't, because all you have to do is come together with your community and say, we're going to create a great school, and it's going to be a good place for our children. Because remember, black folks find money for everything else. So don't tell me black folks can't get together and create great schools with great teachers for our children so we don't have to subject them to some old plantation style treatment. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. And if this was your child, how would you handle it?